He was in it. That's the only. It's one of the only
Oh, Cat.
references I could have understood.
Cat was in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I was like, I know that guy.
Fair.
He's not helping his case. Everyone calling him Big Purr by being in this movie, but he's in it.
Yeah. There.
That's pretty cool
I
scene, though.
I saw on TikTok. It was this debate that a husband and wife were having, and it was like, um, do you know who Leroy Jenkins is?
Leroy.
And all the guys knew, but none of the women knew. And then the woman was like, "Well, do you know this actress?" And all the guys were like, "Nope." And all the women were like, "Yep." And I'm like, "That seems about right." So they're trying to debate who's more famous, this actress who I can't remember her name right now, or Leroy Jenkins. I'm like, I feel
There's
like
your answer.
it's got to be Leroy
It's,
Jenkins.
more people have definitely seen Leroy.
I would think so too.
Jenkins.
I would think so too. But here we are.
Shout out Cat though. Shout out Cat though.
Yep.
He's got that
Shout out.
IMD credit now.
Shout out. The IMDb credit is funny, but hello and welcome back to the Boost Overball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle K Cube, and in the bottom right we got Quili. A redless episode this week. He is on vacation with his wife, so hopefully they're having a good time. We get some good pictures, but no time like the present, because tomorrow we're recording this on Tuesday the 19th, and this episode will go live audio wise as soon as I'm done editing after this is over. But tomorrow is the Paris Major. I can't believe it.
I wish we were there, dude. Like the fact that it's gonna go from this and we're gonna have to see the NA crowd and Dickies. It's honestly, it should be a war crime for what Blast is doing to us. Why are they not flying us out for free? How about that? How about tell you what? I won't sue for mental distress if they fly us out for free.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
On 6 hours notice, because the major's tomorrow and it's like 14 hours to get there.
Yeah, that would be cool. But on today's episode, we have our Paris Major preview. We'll be going over our own personal brackets, giving our thoughts and predictions, including doing a group bracket, and by group I mean the two of us, and talking through the biggest storylines heading into Paris, all before finishing off with our weekly Quili question. Quili, are you ready to jump right in? Okay.
Oh my god, that was a huge piece of chicken.
Oh no.
I'm dying.
Don't die.
It's going to be a Quili and Redless episode. Good luck, buddy.
But the one thing that I would like to say before we jump into the gameplay and the brackets and the groups and the teams and everything, some info about the Paris Major. Remember that the prize pool is partially crowdfunded. The Paris Major bundle is now out in game. So if you want to contribute to the prize pool, if you want to have the Paris Major items, which I think are pretty cool, it's a banner, an anthem, some wheels, and a decal that's pretty cool. I think it works. It'll work with a lot of designs that people have going out there. But this could potentially be the largest major, the largest event in Rocket League history. I think this will surpass the Lyon Worlds, because this is 3 crowd days for a major. And 5 days of RLCS action starting tomorrow, like I said earlier. But as we mentioned in the last episode, the La Defense Arena has a incredible capacity, up to 45,000 people. I'm not sure if the entire venue will be sold out, or if they're gonna allow all of the seats to be sold. But we'll have to wait and see for the crowd days starting on Friday for that. But I feel like I want to be, like, I'm definitely jealous that we're not there. I'm definitely jealous that none of the majors that we've been to, Raleigh, Boston, continue, like, so on and so on, haven't been 3 days in person. But I feel like I can't complain too much, because we've gotten to see all the RLCS action with the non-crowd days. But man, the crowd days just hit different.
Yeah, and it's a new format too, with the 3 teams coming out of groups, so it gives them obviously more games that have a lot more on the line, and as well as that, obviously, there's no fear that crowd's not going to sell out all 3 days, as I'm pretty sure it is, or damn near. So I feel like that's why they get a little bit of a leeway in getting 3 crowd days for just a major. Because usually, I think it's always just been Worlds that have gotten 3 crowd days.
Yeah, and then except the first time that Worlds was at Dickies, they did more crowd day. I think they did 5 crowd days because they did the wild card event beforehand, like the team, like kind of like the play-in tournament basically. And they weren't main crowd days. You had to buy special tickets to go to that event, but it was in front of a smaller crowd inside of Dickies Arena in the same venue, in the atrium. So was a cool experience for the people that went. I did not, but nevertheless, this is the most crowd days that we've seen for a major. This ties the amount of crowd days for Worlds, and I would say you know if they sell out, if the crowd showing is good, I think this gives Blast kind of more of a reason to continue this trend. Maybe eventually moving down the road, we'll see 4 crowd days for Worlds. I think that would be incredible, but we will have to wait and see on that one.
I will say the only downside, I do like our private days with them.
Oh, for sure, they're so nice.
We get to be a little bit more involved, a little bit.
It's more
get
intimate.
to see a lot of the behind the scenes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, get to talk to a
So
lot more people. Yeah. Why not both though?
Why not both?
I can't lift up my other arm. I can do one arm. We can do one arm. I took my immobilizer off so I can click my mouse, but that's about it. Yeah. We were talking before we were recording, and I dislocated my shoulder playing hockey last night. We're back in. It's good. I just got a sling for a couple of days, but no surrender emoting for me right now. So here we go.
He was trying to tell me a story about this hit, but I know he was trying to do a musty flip reset in a hockey game. Did not go well for him.
Yeah, I tried to flip reset, and I landed on my head. So it's a wonder I don't have a concussion. Maybe I do. Who knows? But here we are talking some cardball. Let's start out with the groups. We'll kind of go group by group. We'll kind of give the talking points coming out of each group, and we'll give our thoughts. I think that looking at the bracket that you released personally and the bracket that I released, our groups seem to be pretty similar. We seem to be in pretty sure about who is going to be sent home from each group. But nevertheless, let's go through it and we can talk about it. So Group A, that is Team Vitality, Carmine Core, Wild Card, and Foot Esports. So first and foremost, is there a team here that sticks out to you as like, yep, this is going to be the 4th unless something crazy happens?
Second, pulling it up. You said Group A?
Yeah, Group A. So Vitality, Carmine, Wild Card, and Foot.
What was the question again? My bad.
Is there a team that sticks out to you that you think, yep, this is the last place team. This is the team that's not making it out?
Oh, Wild Card. Without it, I'd like to say without a doubt. For the sake of Foot, I hope that they aren't being outperformed by a team that barely made it here, and didn't even make it the first time.
Yeah.
Technically, Foot didn't either, but obviously different circumstances, being their 2/3 a different roster.
Yeah, they're new and improved team.
Yeah, so I mean, Wildcard really is the only one. They're fighting an uphill battle, assuming Foot performs as they were in the opens.
Yeah, and Foot did look so good in NA, and it's interesting to me because, Carmine Core kind of faded down the stretch a little bit in EU, but it's still Vatira, it's still a Tau, it's still Juicy, right? It's still Extra and Farah, in front of a French crowd, right? So they want to redeem themselves for Lyon, they want to redeem themselves for their lackluster performance down the stretch. And then obviously we've seen the form Vitality's been in since we got Boston Zen back. But, do you really think that Foot can make waves in this group, or are they destined to finish 3rd, do you think?
I think 3rd is definitely minus odds. If there was a bookie here making that, I think that's definitely their most likely outcome. I don't imagine they beat either of the EU teams. I honestly don't even see a world where they're close with either of the EU teams, if I'm being completely fair. I think they're just in a different level. Because obviously we've seen Justin, like last season when Genji, when he first got there, they were dominating. And then they got to lane and they got absolutely smoked out in LCQs.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard to have much faith in a 2026 Justin making a LAN run. But I think 3rd is a respectable spot, especially since it now makes it out of groups.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm thinking about right now though? I had a random thought just because we're talking about this. I talked about these two teams. What if Zen and a Tao pairing in duos is like foreshadowing a roster change going into next season?
I mean, I think if neither of these teams win Worlds, then it's definitely a possibility.
I mean, we've seen Worlds teams completely blow up altogether.
This is true.
So I feel like
But
there's a Tao Zen pairing.
like, and I don't know that I don't think this is going to happen, right? This isn't what I would predict. But like, if Karmine Corp were to win Worlds, you think that they would make a change?
All right, so I'm gonna might have to cut this part out. You froze like as soon as you started talking, like you just on the camera froze. So I didn't hear any of what you said.
That's fair. That's fair. Hold on. Let me 12.
It literally froze right as you were about to start talking, and then resumed right as you came back. So I missed all what you said there.
I had to write down so I can do the editing for the
Yeah,
audio listeners
that's
there. But what I was gonna say is, do you like if Karmine Corp were to win a Worlds? I mean, we've seen it before. But do you think that they wouldn't try to run Vatira Atau back? And I mean, maybe you could bring back a Drali or something like that. But I feel like there is no way that Karmine Corp is letting Vatira go. It's just too big for the brand, and there's no way that Vitality is letting Zen go. He is the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
I think it falls into the. I think we've learned in the past 2 years. Again, circling back to that BDS Grand Finals, that like a lot of these roster changes are like solidified weeks, if not months, before Worlds even happens. It seems like everyone's already intermingling, and that, like they said BDS already knew before even going to Worlds that they were not going to be a team after the season, that they were all going to disperse and go their own separate ways. Given two of them went to Vitality.
yeah, true.
But so I think honestly, I don't even think Worlds will affect it because it's really based off the players. Obviously, contracts with Rocket League players comparatively to like major sports like NFL and NBA, like those are very public contracts. Us in the esport world, we're really like depends on their contract what's going to happen because we really don't know what their contracts are. They're very privatized with these, and like I said, like we said, we're very speculative with Drali's contract because no one actually knows it. It's not like leaked information. It's not like breaking. Aaron Rodgers is signing 5-year, $280 million deal. It's all completely under wraps. We really don't know, so it's all pending on how long Atau's really held under. But that's just a theory I just randomly have from us talking about the two teams.
That is a good point because you talk about it too. Like I think that Monkey Moon, he is set. I think that this is the final run for him. At least like full competitive, right? He might do a KDOP or whatever, and or something like that, or a gas, for content. But I don't know. It'll certainly be interesting to see. But the last question I kind of have about Group A is, if Wildcard are this fourth place team, we will see a Worlds tiebreaker series between Wildcard and Power. I don't know when that series would be, and I don't know much of the details about it, but it will be a best of 7 single round series. Winner goes to Worlds. What do you think it's going to happen? And then what is your like way too early prediction? Like, do you think going to Worlds or going to Paris will kind of propel Wildcard to a win, or do you think kind of maybe they lucked out a little bit in the grand finals and Open 6, like, or they just had a bad day? Power just had a bad day. What are your thoughts?
I mean, going purely based off Fiber's tweets, I'd like to say Power's going to win this tiebreaker if it comes down to it, because a lot of it was Fiber. He was one of the catalysts of complaining about bots and like being unable to play, and also he actually had PC issues as well. He did a lot of trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
I think he had to get a new GPU. So honestly, he's not even he wasn't even firing at full form. What we could be seeing out of him. So now that he is going into this possible tiebreaker with all this time to practice and play online, and not have to play bots, not have to play DDoSers, and be able to actually practice the game, I think not only are we going to be getting better Rocket League across the board, but I'm expecting a better outing out of Power, and they obviously didn't even make it to grand finals, so it was pretty much just a cakewalk for wild card because I'm pretty sure it was already gifted to them by the time the entire event was, by with the time they were at grand finals. So maybe getting them head to head will add a little bit more pressure. Um, yeah, and Power just gets to get a lot more tape on like wild card now that they are the team at a LAN. So um, do I think they're going to finish fourth? Yes. Do I think they're going to beat Power in a tiebreaker? This one's more biased. No. We rock with Power in the in this hood.
So that being said, if wildcard does not make it out of groups, it is the odds are almost zero that they will get an LCQ spot. Because of this Group B that we're going to talk about, and that Group B is NRG, MIBR, Manchester City Esports, and Five Fears. So I don't think I need to ask the question. I think both of us are supremely confident that Five Fears are going to be our fourth place team. The question that I had instead was, do you think that they take a game? Like, do we think that they can take a game off any of these teams? But I don't think that they'll take any series off of any of these teams, right? So if Five Fears is our guaranteed number 4 team out of this group, then that means MIBR will be through, and that means that Sam will snipe away the final LCQ spot away from OCE. So OCE will not get a second spot, but they will have a LCQ of sorts, as Wildcard and Power will compete for a world championship spot, but the only one for that region. So I think we're both on the same page. I think we have Five Fears fourth, and we have NRG first. So then, do you think that MIBR has what it takes to take some games off of like Man City or NRG? Do you think that they can rise up to that number 2 spot, or do you think they're kind of destined for that third spot?
I mean, circles. So 5 years. Unfortunately, I do not think are getting a game off anyone. Their best chance is probably MIBR or Man City. Obviously, I'd hope it's not NRG. If NRG, I think they did almost
Overtime.
They came very, very close to taking a game off NRG, but obviously they didn't. So I doubt it actually does happen. But never say never. But it's hard to believe, But yeah, I don't see Five Fears getting any wins. I see them having more banger tweets than having goals.
Fair. We have been a big fan of their social media team here on the podcast, so I don't see any reason why that wouldn't continue. But this seems to be, at least in my opinion, one of the most straightforward groups. Another group that seems pretty straightforward is Group C, and that's Twisted Minds, Ninjas in Pajamas, Shopify Rebellion, and TSM. Again, I think we're both pretty aligned that I think it's going to be TSM that will be this fourth place team. But in my eyes, this is Group C and D are the closest in terms of talent, right? I see a world where Twisted Minds tops the group. I see a world where NIP or Shopify can top the group. I think it's really just going to depend. I also see a world where it's all tied, right? Everybody beats TSM, but then, everybody beats each other, right? So Shopify beats Ninjas but loses to Twisted, and Ninjas loses to Twisted but beats Shopify. You know what I mean? Like, it could just be like kind of, an absolute free-for-all here. But
yeah, spoiler, that's exactly how my bracket's set up. There's 2-1s across the board, except for TSM, who I think I had taking 1 game total.
Yeah. And I think that TSM has the talent to take a game, but I think it's going to be, like you, I think it's either going to be 1 or none, right? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be much more than that.
And also, unfortunately, they really got screwed with their bracket. Like, this group for them, comparatively, like, if they got that 5 years placement, I think they have a better chance of at least winning a series, if not taking some games off. I don't know how many other minor region spots I'd flip them and still give them games, because I don't imagine them taking games off, or not take. I don't imagine them beating R8 Esports if R8 Esports is as advertised.
Yeah. So I mean, and we'll talk about it more once we do our brackets and our group bracket. But like, with as many good teams as we have here, and with as many teams making it out of groups as we have, it is so imperative. Seeding is so important, right? So if you're the number 1 seed in your group, you're automatically into the quarterfinals. You have that second life. One win puts you in the semis. Whereas if you're second or third in your group, you have to win one, two, three games, like 3 series, just to get to the semifinals. So it puts you 2 rounds behind by not topping your group. So there will be every reason to fight for that. Moving along, or sorry, before we move on, like I think this group is also the biggest what if group. What if we see the Twisted Minds that swept Falcons? What if we see the Ninjas in Pajamas that almost won a regional? What if we see the Shopify team that pub stomped NA for their Open 5 regional, right? Like, or what if we see Sunday Shopify? What if we see the Twisted Minds that lose to Stallions twice, or the Ninjas in Pajamas that like crash out round 1? So I mean, it's just the distance between like floor and ceiling for these teams is so much bigger. I think that they kind of lucked out, like you said, having a team in their group that I think is going to be
a punching bag.
Yes, that is a good way to put it. Some cannon fodder, a punching bag, whatever you want to say. But it's very possible this could be like a mid off. It's also very possible that one of these teams could say, you know what, we're the shit. We're just going to win, and they could do that too.
Which one do you think is most likely to pop off?
Twisted.
I think, oddly enough, Ninjas is.
That was my second choice.
It's just all these players are capable of such crazy things, and I don't think I could have put it better myself. How you put it with the floor to ceiling of all of these teams. This Group C I think is going to be the best content by far, or it could be the worst. Everyone just plays like shit completely.
Yeah,
but I think this one's going to be the most competitive.
I would tend to agree. We talked about our top 10 player rankings, and I had Oli in mine. I think that he's this type of group, right? Like, because like you look at the group at first, you're like, oh man, Shopify and Twisted, that's crazy. And then I feel like a lot of people kind of overlook Ninjas because they don't have a TRK, they don't have a first killer, level of superstar, right? But they got 3 really good players. And this is the kind of moment where Oli sticks out, and the kind of moment where Jory can do some damage, right? The great white shark could start circling here. But man, that's one of the groups that I'm going to be looking at most interestingly. And tied probably for that is going to be Group D, and that is Gentlemates, Space Station Gaming, R8, and Furia. So, based on talent, I think this is the most competitive group in the event. I think if everything went right for these teams, I think all of them could make a top 6.
All?
Yes.
Furia included?
Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? Certainly not.
I think R8 also?
I think if everything broke right for them, yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. But like R8's one of those teams that's like they don't have anything to lose, right? Like they're most likely going to take the LCQ spot from Mina. I don't see them finishing top 2, right? Which is what it would take to knock Falcons out of their spot. Furia have their world spot already. This is basically just practice for them. No one has them. I don't think anyone has them penciled to win, right? So then that leaves you Gentlemates, right? Do you get the Gentlemates that missed a regional, or do you get the Gentlemates that just won the Boston Major and looked incredible? Same with Space Station, right? Is this the regional winning Space Station team, or is this the
top 6 worlds?
Yeah, exactly. Or is this the team that Vitality, that they literally set their controllers down, right? So, that's the tough one. I personally think Furia kind of continues the downward SAM trend. I think that they are not the best team in SAM anymore. And I think that the mentality, that's a hard thing to fix mental wise. So, like, what do you think about this group, and how do you feeling? Are you feeling the same way as I am about these teams?
I unfortunately don't feel too high on Space Station, which sucks for me as an SSG fan and a Zach fan. Zach is one of my current, if not the current favorite player, and him unretiring was crazy, but we haven't seen him on LAN since Worlds. He didn't take the first split off. He played just like with friends. But now he's back on a team, and obviously they won an open right off rip, so that set the expectation high for them. And they have looked good. They haven't looked obviously as good because they haven't won a freaking regional. But I I think if Furia makes it, it's because Space Station doesn't. As much as I want to root for them, I mean, I'm going to be rooting for them. As much as I want to believe in them, it's hard because at the land performances, they've had 1.5 good land performances. EWC, like this, the beginning obviously had the Vitality experience, but then the second half they went on a tear. They took out Twisted Mind and that whole team, and they looked insane after that. They were competitive, I think, with Falcons there, or was that
Yeah,
Worlds?
no, yep.
They released like
In
competitive with
Boston.
Falcons. Yeah, and then there was, and then at Worlds, obviously they won on an unprecedented run, but then they lost arguably their best player in Kover. I mean, it's hard to say best because I feel like all three of them they had such synergy and they were just such a great trio that I think if they stayed together, they'd probably be that number 2 seed in all of NA. But obviously, for obvious reasons, Kover leaving, Zach uh, temporarily retiring. It's hard to keep having faith in this team because we don't know how they're going to perform on lane, especially Diaz. We haven't really seen that many great things from Diaz on lanes. He's been on lanes. I believe he was there with Complexity last season.
Yeah,
If I do
Complexity, and
recall.
then he was at Worlds. He then
He's
was
at the
at
first major too.
Kickoff Weekend and Boston Major. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, obviously he has lane experience, but yeah, these are all. Can we still keep calling them young? Are they
I would
17,
say so.
18 now?
They're under 18.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean this one I think two through four in a different way from Group C, 2 through 4 is really a toss up on I feel like they can all interchange how they finish. Because obviously R8 hasn't been on land since ROC. Furia obviously has not looked great at all. Space Station got smoked out in Boston. Kind didn't really go that well for them in Boston. They didn't make it out of groups.
Yeah. So this season, Open won second place. Kickoff Weekend, top 4. Um, excuse me. Um, Open 3, top 4. Boston Major, 13th to 16th. Open 4 first. Open 5, top 4. Open 6, second. So worst finish like online, top 4 this season. Best finish first. But some suboptimal performances on land. This is a different team. This is like a more experienced team. And realistically, like if you want to call it a warm up for Worlds, like they have their spot. So, realistically, I'll be interested to see what they can do. I think that they have the ability to make a top 4 here, right? Like we talked about their ceiling, it's so high, but can they continue to keep the floor where they've had it through the NA season? Or does the wheels fall off?
One can only hope. One can only hope. Cross my heart. Hope to die. Stick a pencil in my eye. I don't know how the saying goes. I hope for the best for him. Luckily, now that I have expanded my horizons, I could just. I'm a free spirit to like Shopify and Space Station, so I got 2 horses in the race. Obviously, we know based off last week who I picked to win the whole dang thing. But yeah, high hopes for both teams. But yeah, I just can't wait for this to happen. It sucks how like expanded it's gonna be. It's gonna be all the way from Wednesday to all the way to Sunday. So much time we're gonna have to spend watching Rocket League. Obviously, we got real jobs, so I'm gonna have to be trying to watch it while I'm performing at work,
Yeah.
as well as luckily this weekend's been cleared out. There's rain by me, so there's no Memorial Day festivities going on. So I'm going to be sat in this room in this chair, locked in Saturday and Sunday watching the land days, and I am so excited for it.
So I know, and Oof is in chat. I know that he is going to be watch partying a lot of the major on his Twitch channel. We, maybe we'll jump in. Maybe we'll do a co-stream. We'll have to figure that out as we go. But that's a possibility as well. But I think now is as good a time as any to go over brackets. What do you think?
Yes, sir. Let's get through it. Get to it.
Okay. So, oh, why did it yell at me?
But shoot, you know what started? Aim one.
Oh, I'm not sure why my My camera stopped working there. So,
I,
there we go. We fixed it.
I was
Okay.
gonna say I've seen it this whole time. It hasn't stopped on my end.
Yeah. So what I switched the scene over on YouTube so people can see the screen. So I'm going to still read it out for our audio or for the audio listeners, but people who are watching, the YouTube video or watching on Twitch, you should be able to see this. So we will start out with Quili's bracket, and my face is kind of in the way, so we're going to zoom in a little bit or not. Whatever.
Oh, we're just straight up looking at my bracket.
Yeah.
I have to explain myself.
No, I was just gonna
everyone.
go over it real quick. And
I was gonna say, in my defense, everyone, I did this in the shower.
Yeah. So out of Group A, he has Carmine Core in first, Vitality second, and Foot in third. Carmine 3-0, Vitality 2-1, Foot 1-2. Wild Card goes out 0-3. In Group B, we have NRG in first, Manchester City and MIBR going 3-0, 2-1, and 1-2 respectively. Five Fears goes out 0-3. In Group C, we have Twisted Minds, Ninjas in Pajamas, and Shopify Rebellion all going 2-1. Twisted, then Ninjas and Rebellion, and then Rebellion off of a tiebreaker. TSM going 0-3. And in Group D, as Gentlemates, R8, and Space Station. Gentlemates going 3-0, R8 going 1-2, Space Station going 1-2, and Furia going 1-2, but losing out on a tiebreaker to Space Station. And moving into the playoffs, through lower round 1, he has Man City taking down Space Station 4-1, Ninja sweeping Foot, Shopify taking down Vitality in 6, R8 taking down MIBR in 7. We then have Ninja sweeping Man City, Rebellion taking down R8 4-1. And then moving into our upper brackets, we have Mates taking down Carmine in 6, NRG taking down Twisted in 7. We then have Carmine taking out Ninjas in 6, Rebellion taking out Twisted in 7, Carmine over NRG in the semifinals in 6, Shopify over Mates in 7, and Shopify over Carmine in 7 to win the Boston Major.
And I did preface the grand finals is revenge for what BDS did to NRG on the grandest stage in Fort Worth, Texas. This is our revenge, and it's going to be at the hands of First Killer to make it even more embarrassing for Vitality. They're going to lose, or not Vitality, Carmine Corp. They're going to lose in front of the home crowd. It's going to be embarrassing. What's his name? Vatira is going to immediately stand up, cry, walk off the stage, and make another tweet blaming his teammates. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be cinema. Pumped.
Hell yeah. Well, moving on to Reds, he has Vitality, then Foot, then Carmine Core, Wildcard dropping out. NRG, then Man City, then MIBR with Five Fears dropping out. Rebellion, Twisted, Ninjas with TSM out. And then Gentlemates, Space Station, R8 with Furia out. And then moving into the playoffs, we'll try to go a little bit quicker since Red is not here to defend himself, but his top 4 is NRG taking down Vitality in 7, and Gentlemates taking down Rebellion in 5. He then has NRG taking down Gentlemates in 6 to win the Boston Major. And then last but not least, we have mine. And similar to both of you, I have Wildcard out, but Carmine in first, Vitality, then Foot. In Group B, I have Five Fears out with NRG, Manchester City, and MIBR. In Group C, I have TSM out with Twisted, Ninjas, and Rebellion. And then Group D, I have Furia out with Gentlemates, Space Station, and then R8. And moving into our playoff bracket, I have Mates taking down Carmine in the upper bracket, and I have NRG taking down Twisted. I have Carmine Core and Vitality making it through the lower bracket into our semifinals, in which NRG is able to take down Carmine Core in 7, and Gentlemates are able to take down Vitality in 6. I then have Gentlemates taking down NRG in 6 to win the Boston Major. So, a lot of things going on there. A lot of similar predictions, a lot of not so similar predictions, but I think now is as good a time as any to do our collaborative bracket here. What do you think?
Yes, sir. Let's get through it because, as you've just gone over, there's a lot of games to get through.
There certainly is. So let's start out with Group A in round 1. Vitality Foot.
I mean, I think it's an easy win for Vitality. They usually own NA, so I think honestly they do it in dominant fashion. I give it a sweep.
I was gonna say 3-1, but I will do the 3-0. Carmine Wildcard.
Last time they faced on land, Wildcard almost did the damn thing.
They did almost do it.
With that said, 3-0 Karma Corp.
I would tend to agree on that one again. I think Vitality Wildcard is also a 3-0. I think I'll give a 3-1 for Carmine and Foot.
Yeah, I think Foot gets a respectable game.
I think Foot, it's a 3-1 win for them over Wildcard.
What you said, Foot Wildcard?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I gave it 3-2 or 3-1, but yeah, I think definitely Foot comes out on top. And
this is for number 1 seed in our bracket. You got Vitality or Carmine Core?
I had Carmine Core.
I had Vitality.
If you have Vitality, what we can do, we got Red as our tiebreaker for groups.
You're right. Let's do that. Red had.
I'm guessing Vitality.
Vitality. Yep. So, but that's.
I had Carmine Corp with the comeback win. Obviously, we know Vitality beat them last time on lane, and that was a shock to everyone because what was it, 13 times in a row?
Yeah. No one beats Vitality 12 times in a row. I mean, I can. I'm kind of just gonna do this in the. You know.
He's doing the 3-0. He's just full sweep in 5 years right now for the audio listeners.
Yeah. I mean, do you
He's
disagree?
Just saving the time. No.
Okay.
Did I have them take a game? I don't remember.
I did not. I had TSM taking a game though. But now is MIBR Man City.
I'd give Man City's not. I don't know how well they're going to perform against actual talent, but I don't know how much of an actual talent MIBR is. So I'm going to give it a 3-2 Man City.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I give the edge to Seiko here.
Yes, sir. Oh, if he could get to the lane, if he could, I mean, I'd imagine he's going to get to the lane, being 5 years in the group. No offense, 5 years. If he doesn't, that is going to be a tragedy.
The tragedy of all tragedies, really.
Yes.
Okay. NRG Man City.
I gave it 3-1 NRG. Honestly, I could see 3-2 because just the European speed style that they play with. I wouldn't be surprised they took more than they should, but I'd imagine NRG still comes out on top regardless. Could still be a sweep also.
Yeah. And then last but certainly not least, we have NRG and MIBR.
I gave this one, I think, a 3-2. I think again, Spanish, or the South American play style is just something that's really good at being competitive, but doesn't get the job done.
I would tend to agree on that one, so I think that is pretty good. Moving into Group C, I think this one I don't think I can just put sweeps all across the board. I think TSM will get at least one somewhere, but Twisted TSM.
I gave this one a 3-0.
I would too. I was going to say, but I don't think it's this one. Ninjas and Rebellion.
I think Ninjas are a really good team, and I think I'd give them the edge over a Shopify Rebellion in this stage. I think they're just so consistent.
You want to
just the CR? I think CRR just outplays
3-1 or 3-2.
I think I did 3-1.
I did as well. So then we have Twisted and Shopify Rebellion.
I had Shopify winning this one.
I did too.
I think they just somehow pull out a 3-2. I don't know how. By the gods, TRK just loses his frickin' marbles over there. Nobu's just sitting there sipping water, and Monkey Moon all the way back in the chair.
Yep. Ninjas and TSM.
I think this one's also a 3-0. But TSM could just pull a couple of one game with like 8 goals out of their ass.
This is true. Twisted and Ninjas.
I think I gave this one to. What did I give it to? I think this one I gave to Twisted. That made all teams 2-1. Just because, why not?
Yeah.
And then Shopify, this is the game I gave this is the series I gave a game to TSM. You never know I'd pick Shopify to win based off how I did the Group C bracket, but I did give TSM their game here.
This is what I did as well. I was like, you know what? This seems like it's a foregone conclusion that
Yeah.
at this point this is probably going to be the last match of Group C, and it's a foregone conclusion. They haven't won a series yet. Rebellion has taken one at this point. I think that they can take a game, so just not a series but a game. And then moving into our last group, probably maybe the hardest to predict, but our first match is Gentlemates and Furia.
I think 3-1. I think Furio's playstyle can give them a game off of Gentlemates because I think Gentlemates, they play a little bit loosey goosey. They play a little fun. So I feel like sometimes you can catch them just flat footed or just like off guard because they are all speed, all gas, no brakes. So if you just find that little hole, hit the whole Le'Veon, you can they can find themselves a game.
I would tend to agree there as well. And then this matchup in the first round kind of, at least in my opinion, sets the stage for who's going to take second and who's going to finish third. And that is Space Station and R8. Are you a believer in Space Station's ceiling, or are you a believer that R8 is the real deal?
I actually have this banger as a banger series. I have this going to 5 in favor of Space Station.
I did as well in my bracket. I think that is going to be the true like measuring stick of R8, right? If they handle Space Station like 3-0, they may be a bigger threat than we thought. But if they don't, then I think that we've estimated them about correctly, I would say. Then moving forward, we have Gentlemates and R8. I have the mates taking this one. 3-1 again for them. I don't know if you think differently.
Got strapped something on me. I have 3-1. I think same situation for Furia. I think it's just so confusing. We don't know how they're going to perform at this play-in lane experience, but I gave them a game.
Yeah, and then
I wouldn't be surprised if they got swept though.
Nor would I. Space Station Furia.
I gave this one to Furia.
Interesting.
Why? Why? I don't know. Again, the just the same speed, their play style really gives NA problems. So I think Furia, because they beat Falcons at the last one. So I think this is their one miraculous win that they get. They just pull out of their ass.
Interesting. I had a 3-2 for Space Station here.
I had a 3-2 for Furia. I think it goes to overtime, game 5. Seems like we're just waiting for Furia or SSG to score that final goal, and then they just randomly Furia just finds them misrotating, and Furia takes the win.
Okay. Well, in that instance, I will do that then. So then we have Gentlemates and Space Station.
I unfortunately have Space Station getting swept here, losing all confidence, and things not going too well for them.
I was going to give him 1.
That's fair.
I think they take the first one, and then Gentlemates figures it out and just bulldozes through.
Dominates.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then R8 Furia, I have R8 taking this one 3-1.
I had it going to 5, but R8 favor regardless.
Okay, well we can do that then. So that is actually the difference between Space Station finishing second and R8 finishing second. Is that 5th game?
Yeah.
Interesting. So I mean, I think regardless of the way that we kind of cut the cloth here, I think all 3 of us are in big agreement of Wildcard, 5 Fears, TSM, and Furia all being our teams that will finish 12th to 16th. I don't think that really has been much of a debate, but the rest of it certainly seems to be, as Oof has Space Station going 3-1, so or he had Space Station 3-1.
Oof.
So we shall see what happens there. But moving into our main event, let's start in the lower bracket here. And our first matchup of the day for this is Manchester City and R8 Esports.
I'm trying to find it. Oh, there's the tab. All right, my bad. Which one? What one?
Man City R8.
Lower.
Yep.
See, now this is a little bit more interesting because this is not how my bracket shaped out. So now I got to make my own decisions here.
Yeah.
I
A Carmine Rebellion first round is insane. I'm looking ahead to
in my bracket, I have a Vitality Rebellion first round lowers.
fair.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Who gets lowers first of the of Group A is kind of crazy. I kind of sucks for whoever gets dealt that hand.
Whoever doesn't get
Um,
first, exactly. Yep.
yeah, you get second place. You got to play either Carmine Corp or Vitality. Good luck. But Man's, I think Man City 4-3.
I was of the I was gonna say 4-2, but I am of similar mind there. I think Man City makes it. Twisted Foot.
I think Twisted does it what their name says, and they just twist Foot out of here. Just absolutely smoke them out. I think it's a 4-0 sweep.
You cool if we go 4-1?
I'm cool with that. Respect the Justin.
That's exactly that's the
That's
Justin
a former world champion one right there.
Yeah, the Justin Legacy game. You know, in front of the crowd on LAN. This could potentially be the last time we see him on LAN. We'll have to wait and see. Carmine Core and Shopify Rebellion.
In mine, I gave them the win over Vitality 4-2. So I'm a hold true here.
Okay. Just
if you want to pick Carmine Corp and take the bias and just make it a Carmine Corp win, I'm not going to argue with it because obviously it's not very likely Shopify wins. This is just my heart.
So for the like looking ahead here, right? Like so if Carmine Core wins this series, I regardless of if they win this series or not, I do not have them winning the event.
Yeah,
however, I think that it would be very funny to have a Rebellion Space Station lower round 2 matchup.
Just NA pre-firing, and then there's a chance that they then have to go against NRG based off our bracket after that.
I will join you in a Shopify over Carmine, but I'm going to say in 7. And then moving into our last lower round 1, I'm going to say Space Station takes it over MIBR 4-2.
I'd give this one 7. I think
okay.
These are pretty fair matchups outside of Twisted Foot.
Yep. Okay. Now moving into lower round 2, we have Manchester City versus Twisted Minds.
I think Twisted 4-1.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think this is where the Seiko magic ends for Man City. I think this is fantastic experience for Acro and Tempo, but we will have to wait until Worlds to see if they can do more than that.
And in all honesty, as a Seiko fan, I think this is genuinely best case scenario for how Man City finishes, is if they can somehow pull out all the way to top 8 here.
I would agree. And then now, Shop and Space Station. In this matchup, I take Space Station, and I'm gonna say I'll give it 7, but I think that Space Station could take it in 6.
I was gonna give it to Shop.
Okay, so
who do you think? Who do you see? Because like an NRG Shop matchup next round, assuming they lose to Ninjas.
Okay, I got the tiebreaker in chat. I've asked Oof. Oof, you will be the tiebreaker. You cool with 7? So whoever he says that's the winner in 7. Okay.
Yep.
So.
You wait the Oof.
Yep. While we are SSG baby is what he said.
I think whoever wins this just goes to lose the next round, regardless. So.
I would tend to agree. So our upper bracket quarterfinal matchup, we have Vitality and Gentle Mates, our Boston Major Grand Final rematch here in the upper bracket. So what do you think, and who do you have?
I'm letting you go first on this one. This is a scary matchup.
Mates in 7.
I have Mates beating Carmine Corp in my bracket. Vitality, does that change?
Like I just feel like it wouldn't be a Vitality. What?
Whose side do you think the crowd is on in this situation?
Vitality, probably. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. Might be 50-50.
They're both French teams, but obviously Vitality has Zen, who is General Mates has no French players, so I think
No,
the
but they have
Zen
the green suits.
they do have but that's just like a small portion. The Carmine Corp and Vitality, they went crazy for both those teams whenever they're out there. But I give it 4-3 Vitality. I mean, I meant General Mates, but
Okay. We then have NRG and Ninjas.
um, I'd honestly probably give this to Ninjas.
Whoa.
4-2.
Um, for it to be different, I will join you in that. Different than my personal bracket. Then we have Vitality and Twisted Minds.
Oh, I'm actually looking at it right now. In Red's bracket, he has Shopify beating Space Station 4-2.
Whoa. Interesting.
But what are we on? Run to Vitality Twisted?
Yeah, Vitality Twisted.
Honestly, as based off how France did last time, I just want to predict them to lose on in front of the crowd. Because they looked horrible in front of the crowd.
They did.
Both Carmine Corp and Vitality. Obviously, this Vitality team and last year's Carmine Corp team, two completely different teams. Vitality is peaking beyond belief, and Carmine Corp is in the dumps. So it's hard to pick in favor of the French team.
And also, I mean, Oof brings up a good point in chat, right? Monkey Moon is French.
Yeah.
So does he get some crowd love? Probably not against Vitality, but if they were to play Ninjas, then probably.
He has Nobu as his teammate, so I don't imagine the Twisted Mind team gets any love.
Yeah.
Enemy of the stay right there. But personally, 4-1 Twisted.
I don't think Twisted can beat Vitality in 5.
No, you could do that then. Okay. Oh, you can't. You don't think they could beat him in 5?
No.
Do you think they beat him at all?
I think if they beat him, it's going to 7. But I think that Vitality probably wins 4-2. That's what I say.
I think the only chance they have of beating him is that Vitality's having a rough performance.
I would agree, but because you gotta think that if the mental is bad after losing to mates in 7, maybe it's an own goal, maybe it's a bad goal, then I think it's totally possible. So what you want to rock with Twisted, or you want to let the do a different tiebreaker and let the coin decide?
Coin.
Okay.
We need to bring out the coin. I feel like we're obligated a coin flip at some point.
Heads Vitality, tails Twisted.
Fine with that. Are we doing one flip or 2 out of 3?
2 out of 3. Twisted.
Twisted.
Twisted. Go with what you said. 4-1.
Go. Twitter's not gonna like this one.
We'll see. NRG and Space Station.
4-2, 4-1. NRG.
I will agree with that one. Twisted Ninjas.
I think this one's going to be a great matchup. Obviously, it doesn't have the glitz, the glams of the top end teams that France wants to see, but they do have their pink wall.
Monkey Moon.
But Monkey Moon. So they will definitely. It's hard to say with Nobu as the teammate, but I'd imagine they'd still be rocking with him. But Ninjas is still the EU team.
Yeah.
So I feel like this crowd is going to be so conflicted with what to root for because they definitely weren't.
They're gonna have to knight someone.
Someone's getting baguetted.
Baguetted.
Honestly, Twisted 4-3.
I'll buy that.
We get Twisted in grand finals.
The bracket broke for them. I think realistically, Vitality's our toughest matchup.
Yeah.
I think Ninjas just will themselves to a game 7, but I would agree with you. I think that they make it there. And then, unfortunately, regardless of who we have winning this series, I have Twisted losing to them. So,
yeah, I think that's fair. But I think mates win this one.
I think so too.
4-0.
I'm gonna say 4-1,
I'll give it one. I'll be fine with one.
and then Gentle Mates and Twisted Minds.
4-0. I
I
think this one might be. I think if it's NRG, Twisted get some games. I think with it being mates, Twisted get no games.
I think similar to before when I said they take the first one and then they sweep through. I think Energy takes game one, Mates just pub stomp everyone, and then they make it to Mates don't lose grand finals. They did once this split, but we're not counting that. Mates don't lose grand finals. They're more nervous in the semifinals than they are in the finals. I think that this is the year of Nas, and he takes their second major.
Yeah, and I think if they take 2 majors, I think that would be genuinely insane. As we haven't seen that since Zen did it.
I also think that if they take 2 majors, they are not winning Worlds. It's already been written in the stars. If it's at Dickies, Monkey Moon is winning it again.
But that's predicated on bad Monkey Moon performances. We have Monkey Moon in the grand finals right now. That's not a bad
You think
performance.
Monkey Moon is carrying this team to the grand finals? It's definitely TRK and Nubo.
Yeah, but he's not gonna. They're not gonna be getting there with him playing bad.
Exotic is a Worlds MVP. I raise you that.
Legally, I cannot argue that. That is my whole shtick.
I hate to do it to you on the on that kind of argument, but that's where I'm at.
It's tough. Damn. Yeah. No. Gentlemates. The boost over ball bracket has two championships from this season. That'd be nuts. Do you think they win a EWC?
Mates?
Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be like Vitality's going to win an EWC because it's in France, and it doesn't matter for RLCS. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of seems like something that would happen.
Vitality when it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Who won EWC the year that they did they have EWC the year that Vitality swept?
I think it was afterwards. I think that was still Gamers 8. Potential. But for the audio listeners, in our top 4, we have Twisted Minds beating Ninjas in Pajamas 4-3. We have Gentlemates taking down NRG in 5. And in our grand finals, we have Gentlemates sweeping Twisted Minds to pick up their second major of the year. Yes, Oof, you're right. V1 won that year. Version 1 won Gamers 8 that year with Com. So we are now back to the regular no screen recording, so we can continue to talk some ball here. But that is all of the visuals that we need for today. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention? Any major storylines or talking points that we haven't hit on yet from the event before we start to wrap up with an update and a Quili question?
Who do you think is going to be the breakout star of the Paris Major?
Like overall?
Yeah, it's like one player that like way exceeds expectation by a mile.
Based on our group bracket, I'm gonna say TRK.
Would it be a shock from him though? To be great?
Nope. But people aren't predicting a Twisted Minds top 2. So I think if they're gonna make a top 2, then I think it's got to be he's got to be the catalyst for that.
Imagine Falcons were here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Oof.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Abdullah. Yeah, Abdullah is one I'd be leaning to. Honestly, Nush.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Nas, but like he cannot over produce on expectations because they're sky high.
Literally 16 goals in a grand finals.
I mean, maybe it's Oski, right? He played really well, but he kind of flew under the radar a little bit in Boston. He kind of took. I mean, everyone took a backseat to Nas. He scored 16 goals in the grand final, like he just mentioned, right? It's hard not to. It's hard to upstage that, but you know, I could see both of those. But yeah, that is a good question.
I think we might get a good Acro performance. I think Acro might show out, do some crazy things.
Yeah, you're right. Nush is on Stallions, not here.
Am I thinking of Dr. Known? Is he also on Stallions? That's on me.
The R8 roster is M7MD, Abdullah, and Ghazi.
Nah. Yeah, I'm just off completely. I'm thinking of another Stallion player probably. All right, fine. Give it to Ghazi.
Fair.
Ghazi and Afro. My shining stars. My underrated shining stars.
Or a Seiko.
No, I think
Is it just
it's expected
expected?
from him.
That's
It's just
fair.
expected, you know. It's Seiko.
I don't
He's
want to look
cool.
at their ages, Oof. I don't want to look at them anymore.
I think
We're not doing
what is
that.
Seiko's like 22. I think maybe
I think he's
21.
talking about the R8 players. I don't want to do
Yeah,
it.
I know.
I
I
don't
know.
want to do
That's
it.
why I'm steering towards the older players right now.
Yeah.
Let's look at the Lost. Let's look at the Furia lineup. How's Lost?
Yeah,
Lost is like
how's our King Lost doing?
he's like what 22, 23?
He's the one who said people who are
Yeah.
24. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm circling to him. Circling with people that are fans and not haters. Or the and
I can't
Torsauce.
I can't believe you've done this to us.
Let's just
Oof.
talk about Torsauce, the
Yeah.
27-year-old.
I am only here to talk about Amphis.
How old is Amphis?
Um older. What do you know about Kronovi? That's what I'm saying. You know?
What you know about
Amphis is 22.
ah,
He turns 23 in July.
there?
So, but with that, is there anything else that you wanna mention?
No, I'm all good. I'm so excited for Land Rocket League, dude. Obviously, it sucks that we can't be there in person to experience it because not only is in person different, this French crowd is built different. So, really sucks that we're not going to be there live and in person. But at least we'll be able to watch it together as friends. Assuming we'll be, if you want to join, we'll probably be in the Discord, probably be watch party there. If not on Twitching, yeah, we're Twitching.
Yep.
We are live Twitching. Maybe. But yeah, no, I'm so beyond excited to see some Rocket League. I'm for the love of God, NA. NA, please don't bow out. Please don't be like major number 2 last year. Please. We can't have a 1 NA team out there again, especially now that 3 teams make it out of groups. Please. Please. Shopify, I have millions of dollars riding on you guys winning this. I don't even have millions of dollars. I'm gonna have to sell a kidney if you guys don't win. Please.
But in lieu of a game update, let's talk about a movie update. I know that we've both been pretty excited about The Mandalorian, the movie coming out on Thursday. I've watched all the show. I'm rewatching through the show with my wife, who's watching it for the first time because she wants to go see it as well. Do you have any thoughts on the Mandalorian movie?
I'm beyond excited. Expectations very low. Modern Star Wars, not good. Not modern Star Wars movies, not good. Although I am a
But the
lot.
shows have
I'm
been so good. Like I thought Boba Fett was very good. I thought that Obi-Wan was very good.
they're hit and miss. You know, I think some of them could do with a little less. Some of them could have used a little bit more. But I'm also a little bit of a nitpicky guy. It's also hard for me to get behind shows just because it's like 1 30-minute episode every week, and I just hate having to wait.
That's
It
fair.
just
That's fair.
by the time the next episode happens, I already forgot what happened last week, and they're trying to pull some stupid story and make me care about new characters that I don't even remember the names of. Like, we're doing too much. We're don't get me started on the Power Rangers in Boba Fett. Don't get me started on those freaking dweebs. I hate them. I hated all of them.
Fair.
Stupid that whatever that city chasing spoiler. The Power Rangers go on a city chase scene in like the desert town. The worst scene I've ever seen in Star Wars history. And I watched The Rise of Skywalker. That was garbage. I will say I am a Last Jedi defender, but I did last week I saw Devil Wears Prada 2. Not a bad movie. Not a bad movie. As someone that didn't even see Devil Wears Prada 1. It's because I thought I was seeing Star Wars last week. Turns out I'm stupid. Tickets were for next week. I got there. I was like, wow, this movie theater's dead. It's kind of crazy for a Star Wars release day. It wasn't a Star Wars release day. But no, Star Wars release will be Thursday. And I don't have high expectations because, as I was mentioning before, modern day Star Wars is just in a rough space. I'm leaning too far into the niche comedy end of it. And also, like, every Star Wars project is like disgruntled adult that's like an asshole to everyone. They suddenly like find a kid and they've just become like a good person. They're that kid's caretaker. It just gives them. I feel like they keep running this model. I have the same expectation that they're going to do that in the Ryan Gosling one. But yeah, no. Obviously, the Grogu Mandalorian dynamic is something that started a whole wildfire of the Star Wars shows and whatnot. But I'm excited for it just because it's Star Wars. Star Wars on the big screen, you know.
Yeah, for
Still
sure.
cool at the end of the day. And also, when we're watching the previews for Devil Wars Product 2, my girlfriend, like, I don't know, she's like never seen Grogu, or I was like, has been up to date. She's like, oh my god, that is the cutest thing ever. And I was like, then that is exactly what they're going for. You're falling for the scheme, and by God, is it working? Because he is adorable, and everything he does in the trailer is the cutest freaking thing. He's a little cutie patootie.
Yeah, they certainly hit the nail on the head there. I think that they hit their demographic, and I think that the Grogu transcends the series.
That's motion.
Yeah,
That's motion right there.
100%. I think that's all they could have hoped for. But did you have a Quilly question for this week, or do we want to just wrap it there?
Quilly question is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie? Out of all 9, or 8, 9, 9. I don't know if we count Rogue One and Hope or Solo. No one's favorite movie Solo though. I already know
No,
that
no,
one.
no, no. I'd say honorable mention for mine is Rogue One. I really liked that. I thought they did a good job. I thought it was a good plot hole that they kind of filled, or not plot hole, but like
It,
kind of a cool story that they told.
yeah,
Um,
I think the only thing that could have used was not spoiling that Darth Vader was in it. If they got,
yeah,
and then also
yeah,
having Darth Vader in the middle of it for no reason. If the first thing of him in it was just that hallway scene where it's just pitch black and then his red saber just, dude, that would have been, for not to be a Gen Z corny kid, the most aura moment in all of movie history right there. And it
yes,
would have just been in Rogue One.
yes.
I think they fumbled there.
I think so too. But my favorite Star Wars movie might be Episode 4.
New Hope?
Yep.
Can't argue with that, you know? It's a classic. It is the thing that started it all. Mine, a little bit more niche of a poll. I wouldn't say niche. It's obviously it's one of the originals. Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. I don't know what does it for me in that movie. I just love that movie.
It's a really
It
good
just
movie.
it's really fun. It's super fun. You get a little bit, you get that love interest between Han Solo and Princess Leia developing more. And you get more of that Luke Skywalker. That's a movie he's fighting out his dad.
Yep.
And yeah, that's like we're literally the whole page turns, everything goes buck wild. I do have episode 6 as my number 2.
Okay. I like Episode 2 a lot. I just like the going to Camino. I like the story of the
Did you say episode 2?
yeah.
Episode 2. We were talking about the same not dual fates. Episode 2, the clone Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
I
I feel
like
like that's one of the most hated ones by everyone, but I mean, I respect it. You know, I don't really hate any of them except for 9. I
yeah,
don't even hate
that one
9 that
seemed kind
much.
of stretchy for me. That like Palpatine was still like kind of a thing.
So the line will always be engraved in everyone's brain. Somehow Palpatine returned. They have millions of dollars of writers, and their explanation for Palpatine returning was a literal line that said, "Somehow Palpatine returned."
I mean, like we still have Maul, we still have Sidious. It's like, come on, come on, come on,
Oh,
come
and
on.
then they made what's it? Then they made what's it? They made Ray freaking spoiler for episode 9. You're not missing out on much. They made Ray his like great great granddaughter or something that he like force impregnated someone. Get that shit out of my face.
A little bit
Get
weird.
that shit out of my face. No, Attack of the Clones is crazy. That's where
But I do
where
one
poor
thing I
Anakin, poor Annie, is
one
yearning for
yeah
Padme.
one thing I do think we can all agree on, and oof in chat that's good. The Star Wars soundtrack,
Unstoppable.
elite, elite.
Un, it's uncontested. There will never be a soundtrack that will ever compete with that. What's his name? Is it John Williams?
I believe so.
That guy, holy peak, holy peak. I've literally played Dual Face and just stood in front of my girlfriend and just stared at her as she listened to it. We watched the first movie. That's the last one we watched. We watched the originals and episode 1 now. And the entire time I was like, the fight's going on. I was like, listen to music. Listen to the music. How sick is this? It is so peak.
Yeah.
John Williams, one of the greatest composers of our generation.
I've also seen a lot of TikToks about people in the gym on the Stairmaster blasting Jedi Temple March in their headphones. It's like I'm Anakin going to, going to murder all the younglings.
Let's do that for 5 miles.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. But that's a good question. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before we wrap up for today?
All good. Let's go Carball.
Oh yeah, can't wait. Like we mentioned before, this episode will come out as soon as I'm done editing, so it will be out Tuesday night. Prior to the game starting, so still give it a listen even after the game's on Wednesday. Still give it a listen, and it'll still be somewhat current. But with that, that's a wrap for today. Huge thank you to Alyssa B and all of our other Patreon supporters for keeping the lights on. For those watching live on Twitch or listening later, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, share the show, tell a friend, do all that fun stuff. Help us level up. Want to join our community? Jump into our Discord or follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, or LinkedIn. If you want to rep the show, grab some gear from our merch store at boostoverball.com. Thank you for listening, and as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. See ya!